allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Stacy Green.
Present.
Councilmember Bob Hall.
Here.
Councilmember Ken Palfini.
Here.
Councilmember Susan Tabulero.
Here.
Mayor Kim Green.
Here. Okay. We have a couple of, a late urgent item to add to the agenda this evening. And so, Craig, I'm going to go to you.
What we're asking you
Oh,
to add
wait.
is some notice of exemptions for some.
We need to file a couple notice of exemptions for the parking lot by the Sons Hall on Inez Street and also for Lake Street. And the urgency is we are trying to get funding so we can get these projects complete. And they just came in on Tuesday. So,
And they need to be back before our next meeting?
yes,
Okay,
And they came in as good.
yes, yes.
all right.
Wait,
Yeah, so in order
Okay,
to
yeah.
hear an urgency item, an item that hasn't been posted, the council needs to find by 2/3 majority that the item came to the city's attention after the posting of the agenda and requires action prior to the next regular meeting. So the motion
is to add it to the
is
agenda.
to add it to the agenda based on those findings of the council.
I'll do it quick. I so move, and then there'll be a second.
I'll second.
After, obviously, we can, if the public has any comment.
Right.
Okay.
Any public comment? Okay, Stacy motion, Sue seconded.
Yep.
All in favor of adding this to the agenda in, as item D of council business?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, it's added. And also, I would like to move item C in council business up to item A, the TOT taxes. Okay, so do I need a second on that? No, I can move that?
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then
She's in charge.
we are going to pull item D, the water restrictions, from consent.
We can do that when we get to it.
We can do it when we get there? Okay. All right. Now is the time for any non-agenda public comment. So is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on anything that is not on the agenda?
Good evening, City Council. Richard Dingus with the Weed Chamber of Commerce, 34 Main Street, Weed, California. Just a notice to you all that we are having the Steampunk Festival coming up in about 2 weeks on the 18th and 19th. I know there was probably some question as to when it was actually going to start on Saturday, and what we've talked about was the fact that we've got some vendors coming up on Friday. But what we're going to have them do is find parking in town, and they may be staying at the Hilo or the Quality Inn. And then, as long as their stuff is going to be pretty safe where it's parked, and it should be, we can open up on Saturday morning early, and they can start setting up. So we were looking at maybe blockading the street about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then having these people set up. It gives them a couple hours to set up and get ready. We're looking at maybe 20 vendors coming up. Some are coming from the Bay Area, which we're kind of happy about in a sense. We've already talked to all the societies already, and everything's been posted with them. So we're hoping to get several hundred people each day. Finally got all the bands taken care of, thank goodness. We were kind of fretting that a little bit, and we're going to have places where people can build things and work with the kids. We've got some folks coming up that actually do that. He's a woodworker, and so he's going to be working with the kids throughout both days. We have the Rat Rod event that's going to be on Sunday, and awards will be given out about 3 o'clock on Saturday, and that'll be from 2 to 3. And we'll have music all day until 8 o'clock that evening on Saturday, then 4 o'clock on Sunday. So should be a pretty fun event. I hope you mark your calendars, and it's Sunday is Father's Day, so bring your fathers. I think it'll be fun. Have them dress up. They'll be more fun.
So you realize that you have no security there Saturday night? So
At
your
the point I do, I
vendors-
understand that, yes.
Okay.
And I was going to talk to Chief Mayberry to find out about that, to see who is available for the evening, if you have anyone. I know it's late. I just kind of got a lot of things dumped on me at one time, so I'm trying to handle it all, and I want to make this a successful event. And we want people that are coming from out of town to be safe, so a lot.
I'm only thinking of your vendors. They're not going to want to leave their stuff out
Yeah.
on the street at night. I mean, I think the event itself will be safe, but after closing, that would be my concern.
Okay.
I just have clarification, Mr. Mayor, if I can ask. So Friday night, there's no closure needed. There was some concern.
Yeah, there was some question about that, and I don't think we're going to close Friday night. I think it's going to be Saturday morning early is when we close it up. So as long as the city leaves us the barricades so we can be there early to do that, then we'll do that.
Richard, can we, here,
Yeah.
is there any chance of security, of the chamber hiring somebody during the night?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that.
Good.
So we'll take a look at that and see who's available and, or what's available at the time. So, and I know we have to do it within this week or next week quickly, so I will be talking to Chief Mayberry to see if there's anyone on his staff that's available, or maybe get a private security group up.
Okay.
Get your AR-15 out?
Thank you. Do you have your costume yet, Bob?
Bob said he might help me with the MC awards and
I would,
the
I
master
would,
ceremony.
yeah, I was going to ask if any of the city council would want to do some narration for us up there, and maybe announce the awards would be great. So if you have the time, let me know.
I don't know, you're busy, Bob?
He's retired.
Yeah. I got a pair of glasses for you, although you couldn't read with them, but he's expected.
Why do you have those?
I will be
Costume.
there, but I'm
It's a big
I'm
costume
working in
party, you guys
boutique.
got to understand, it's
Okay.
like a big costume party.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Anybody else? All right, here we go. Council member announcements. Ken?
Well, if you want to start off with me, I will start this off.
8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Okay.
No, it's only one page. He's
It's
good.
only one page.
8 minutes.
I wrote it down so as I wouldn't linger. I would like to start my report tonight by talking about ethics in government. And although there are 3 general categories in government ethics, I want to talk about the process of accountability. This topic is about transparency of action and behavior when dealing with governance of our community, plus the need for transparency when there is an appearance of economic benefit. As we're all aware, I opposed the new general sales tax resolution at our previous council meeting. The vote was 4-1. But a few days following that meeting, the mayor, who is also the executive director of the Weed Rec and Park, made a petty, intentional, and malicious attempt to chastise me by threatening and increasing rent from $50 to $350, which is a $12,000 to $15,000 annual increase for our city's senior lunch program. The FCRCW, which is the Family Community Resource Center of Weed, runs this program at the community center. It is no secret that I sit on the SCRC board of directors, which is the parent 501(c)(3) for the FCRCW. The mayor executive director, handed our program director a written statement for the rent increase and made it retroactive, just for spite, to January 2022, with a direct comment about Palfini needs to see this. I am paraphrasing because I wasn't there to hear the direct comment. So first, as the mayor, you should at least educate yourself to the wording of the MOU and how will your actions impact the city you were elected to serve. Second, the senior lunch program is an approved function of the city until at least the year 2023 per that same MOU. Third, have you looked at other sources of your income stream in the same manner as the FCRCW, or was this discriminatory towards me and the FCRCW? Fourth, did the mayor take these actions individually, or were they in concert with others? I have tried to be as civil as possible in this statement, but rest assured, I am livid regarding this action taken. Livid. This kind of rogue action gave us the litigation between the city and Sylvia Massey lawsuit, which cost the city over $400,000. I hope my fellow councilors understand the gravity of the situation and where this kind of behavior can lead. I feel the appropriate remedy is the mayor's resignation. Thank you.
Sue?
I do not have anything because my transportation board meeting is not until next Tuesday. It's one of those weeks that falls on the after.
Okay. Bob?
Ms. Mayor, I don't have much other than I was involved with a meet and greet at Bowles Creek, or actually at Mountain View Apartments last Saturday. We were able to survive the wind. It was quite a challenge. We had hamburger, we had trays and things flying everywhere, but we did. Tim came down. We had some music, but and we're doing it again this weekend at the Heritage Park Saturday. In meet and greet, and the idea is trying to bring people together to talk about different subjects. One thing I've been trying to push the conversation regarding education. Another real topic that I think that people are interested in is the value of ethnic diversity. Talking about it, creating a dialogue, creating a vocabulary with it. We also have, we're working with the Weed Family Resource Center, and they're going to be there with information regarding assistance, filling out, that they provide regarding filling out forms for different programs, talking about possible, a possible tutor program for math, being our math scores are at 14%, meet or exceed the minimum standards of the state. Say again. And those are some of the things we want to talk about. And it's time that and it's not about trying to start trouble. It's about trying to find a solution. We've got to do something. We've got to do the best we can. And that's what the meet and greet is about, to see if we can get people to, when we talk about education, let's understand that in our country right now, the teacher is not honored. Not the way they should. There's no job more important to our future than teaching. And they're not honored. On the other side of it, I think that in Weed, we're suffering from some social economic issues that are passed on as an excuse. And it's not. We have to be successful. We have to be successful. We don't have a choice anymore. So you hear again, I'm on my soapbox, but I'm going down swinging, guys. I mean it. I'm walking my talk and I'm challenging people to walk their talk. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Stacy?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, we're walking our talk. I'm not alone. Thank you.
I'll echo that everything with the tragedies has been happening every day and something today at a workplace. And my thoughts is that please don't happen at our school. And I don't know that. And I'm scared when I hear anything, when I see anything, and my heart has not been the same. And watching the people that have had the tragedies, when they explain what's happening, it just breaks my heart. And I hope something can be done. And what they said all people that are elected in any step or any age should do something about it. And my thing is just being involved and trying to be vocal with the community. I met with the vice principal, Ms. Van Buren. She had some good things that she shared about what's going to happen with the school, and I think it needs to be more than that. But I responded to her memo the Monday after the incident happened, that she sent a memo out that said community members. So I want to know who's community members. I want to be a community member involved. I'm a community member. And I appreciate her time and her thoughts, and they're trying to do the thing, but I agree with what Bob says. It goes back to, and I'm going to say it, the family. The schools cannot raise kids. The family has to do so much until the kids get there, then it's extension. But it's the parents, and I know some people don't like that, and I saw some parents' actions that were deplorable. But you can come to my house and talk to me. I'll be respectful to you. But my mom and dad taught me a certain way to treat people, and I try to do that all the time. And if you do that, you have an example of how to treat people. Everyone needs to be treated with respect. You don't have to agree with what they say, but just respect them. So I'm like I said, I'm uneasy. I'm not sleeping too well. I'm listening to everything outside, hearing people yell and scream, seeing what's happening, calling in and seeing what's going on. But I hope that it's a big question. I hope that this nation, hope we can really see what's happening and do something that's going to be helpful to the people that live in this country. And there's a lot of things out there that have to be. It really hurts me. I did see something for Broadband Summit. Ken, you were on that a couple of years ago, but there's a new thing we saw at our League of Cities Sacramento area event. And I don't know if anyone's going to be on that, but it's on August 3rd from 9 to 11, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I don't know who's deciding what, but I wanted to be a part of that registration if that happens, if it can be.
Zoom?
Yeah, it's Zoom, yeah, on August 2nd from 9 to 11:30. And we have a lot of training things coming up, too. I saw that today. I was like, wow, a lot of training things. I participated with Jan from the county health board about commercial cannabis and commercial tobacco. So they want to know my thoughts personally of how smoking is carried on in this area and the projects. And so I was on that call. It was just an interview. And then I got some more information, which I passed on to the principal. She said, wait, we didn't have this about vaping. I thought they had everything. I think everybody knows everything, but they don't. And this quick story is, when I was working at the wheat store, somebody got out their car right there and blew a big old cloud. I was like, oh, that looks fun. I want to do that. Everybody says, what are you doing? He came in, he said, it's cake flavor. I was totally sold, and I told my friends I want to do that. Say, Stacy, you can't do that. You'll get indoctrinated into something that you probably won't be able to. So I didn't realize how vaping is still a big issue, and I saw some kids do that. When I went to a couple of events recently, I went to the awards night, and I told you that brought some heart back into my body when I saw the different recognition of all the different students from different ages, because they do it different than when we were in school. They did it at graduation for us, all the awards. Now they have a night for all awards for 9 to 12, and senior awards, and then after that they do senior awards, and then they have the graduation a week later. And I was so joyful when I left. My heart was so overjoyed seeing people get awards, and it looked like it was real. It wasn't fake, because people were clapping. You saw different people from different sizes, different countries, different colors, and you saw different sizes of people, different strands of people, and it made me feel good to be a part of We California when I saw that. And I said, I'm going to try to go to every event. Sue presented out of the Rotary Club, what they did, and what the best thing was, families who have lost kids due to whatever tragedy, they have established awards that they give to students to encourage them to go on, and they're not playing. And Crystal Geyser gave 4 $10,000 awards to students. That's excellent. And you know, we had some thoughts about when they first came, what they're doing, but now they're putting their feet to the pavement and walking the walk. And so I just say that as part of the council, thank you, Crystal Geyser, staff and members, for what you're doing for our community, because I think it's great. And that's all I have for now.
That's the second year Crystal Geyser's done that. They did it last year also.
10,000?
4 $10,000
Wow.
ones. I did think of something, Bob reminded me. The Great Northern free lunches for the kids starts, I think, next Monday, if not next Monday, the week after. It'll be Monday through Thursday at Mountain View Apartments and by the pool.
Miller Park?
Yes.
Okay. So I only have a couple things. I received an email about a Zoom meeting with new cannabis regulations that are coming out, and I did register for that. And then the other is the Weed Community Pool, which is the pool that's up in Bel Air Park, will be open starting Monday. It's $2 to get in, and they will be having day and night swimming. And then all their swim lessons are posted on the Weed Rec website, and you can go on and pick the classes that you'd like to send your kids to and get them signed up.
Is it divided with adults and kids during the day, certain different times, or just all open for everyone?
They do have a time that's reserved for lap swim. And I believe that's like at noon. And they also teach private lessons during that time.
You can find that on the
so-
rec calendar for everyone to look at now.
Yeah, they have their own Facebook page too,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on. Would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, we did have one item that we staff wanted to pull.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking I did it already. All right, so we'd like to pull item D from the consent agenda and move it to items pulled from the agenda.
You need a second on
I-
that?
Yes,
I second it.
all in favor? Or
Aye.
public comment?
Comment, do we want to do that because none of the TOT people are here?
This is the water restriction. Yes, we already did the other one. Did you make the motion? I made it, yes. Okay. Okay, all in favor? Yes. All right, thank you. And moving on to council business, now this is where we're
Consent.
after I moved it, I didn't do it, yeah,
I move to approve the consent agenda.
As amended.
as
As
amended.
amended, yes.
I will second that.
Any public comment? All in favor?
No, I thought that was for her to move that off.
I moved it, she's approving the consent, she wants to approve the
You
consent
don't need a
agenda.
motion to pull something, any council member can.
Oh,
Okay, got it. All right.
Okay. All right,
Says any
So-
items removed will be considered after the motion to approve the consent agenda.
they're over here. We've moved it over here.
I thought she just did the
Okay,
consent agenda.
so my motion
Okay.
was to approve the consent agenda as amended. And Stacy seconded it, and we have no public comment, so vote. All in favor? Aye. Anybody against? All right.
No.
And now we're on to item pulled from the consent agenda.
Right.
Craig?
Yes, and we have made a modification to this since the meeting to match our ordinance. We changed. To match our ordinance, we changed the dates to match our ordinance, so it went from odd number streets from Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, from Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Craig, can you back up and do just a little blurb about what we're talking about?
Okay, the state has required us to come up with a resolution for water restrictions for the city. And we have an ordinance that already has some water restrictions in it. So this will be delivered to the state so we can meet our requirements. And then we change the dates to match our ordinance. So the one you have in front of you is correct.
So you just flip
Okay.
those, what the state
Yeah.
said one, and we already have that.
Yeah.
But the state said the 10th, this says adopted the 9th, is that still okay? It's the
Yes.
next day? Okay.
And our community will be getting informed on this through their water bill.
Correct.
And do we have the ability for those of us that do automatic payments to send that information out in the email?
Yes.
That goes,
Yeah, finance has your email, they have the ability to email that to you. We will also post it at the door. We'll have copies of it here, and we'll post it on the website.
okay. All right, thank you. So we don't need to vote on this, do we?
Yes.
We do? Okay,
We can pass that as a resolution, right?
all right.
Okay, I will try that. I move adoption of the resolution number 18-2022, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Weed establishing an emergency drought condition water reduction policy, as amended with the changes that were just shared.
I'll second.
Any public comment? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion carried. Moving on to council business. The TOT, item C, will be moved up to item A. So Sandy will be putting up the TOT request spreadsheet.
Drum roll. There we go.
Can you read it?
Yeah,
can.
it looks great. Mm. We have bigger screens up here than we used to,
Yeah.
so we can see things better. Okay,
And you added the one that was after that was approved by the city manager.
Yes, everything's been added, all of your allocations are there. If you look over, there's the average of your allocations, and previous allocations, and then also in blue is what has been awarded with the gap funding, since we did have the 6 months of no funding.
And I was confused on that, but on how to add that in, but that's not unusual for me because it was math.
So the total amount requested is 134,716.00. And the available amount is lower.
Yes.
So the amount, it's supposed to be 116 that we're supposed to get to, is that correct?
Yes, we only have a dollar amount of 116.
We don't have to get to that.
No,
We can get below that.
Yeah.
I have a question. So the allotments that we have given to the chamber, the allotments that we gave to the cemetery, did we give an allotment to the museum already for 21, 22?
we did have a museum allotment.
My question is just, were those already included and subtracted out? And so the balance we have is that one?
The 116, yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's
Yeah,
good.
what we have already given was subtracted out of the
I
2%,
thought
so
but
that's
I'm
the
a little
remaining
dense,
funds.
So it's okay.
The 116 is remaining.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Mayor, I have a question. I left, I think it was about 10,000 left. Is there, when we start talking about TOT, and I must admit, I talked to Councilman Pelfini regarding this, and to set up a fund where we could use some of this money to lend people, let's say somebody on Main Street wants to paint the front of their building. And, can we use some of this money to give a loan to the person to do this or to enhance their buildings? Is that legal or?
That's a scary practice. It opens up.
Typically on those type of, Councilmember Hall, typically on those, they're run through like a grant process with matching funds.
on something to that, and several cities have them usually run through the chamber or through some sort of economic development. So, I mean, it can be done, but I don't know, as far as a loan goes, I'm not sure if that would be
So it'd be
the,
more of a grant.
more of a grant with the matching and those type of things.
We could use this funding for something like, if there was say there's 10,000 left in the TOT, could we use that for a grant system?
So David just read what our TOT is supposed to be used for, and one of the ones in there was a beautification project. But wouldn't a private business be more of like the CBDG grant that we have?
There is some of that through the Siskiyou Economic Development, I believe, and at one point, Crystal Geyser was actually, Bob, talking about ponying up, I wanted to say like 20,000 a year for beautification in downtown for the merchants with some sort of matching grant for awnings and paint and those type of things too. So at one point, what is her name? From Crystal Geyser?
Was it Susan Miller, I think, or no?
It's
No.
Miller or something.
Christine or?
Cheryl, I think you're right.
Sharon.
Sharon. No, but Sharon's not there anymore. They're
But
doing-
I believe that would be, because typically those things are set up via committees and lots of rules and those type of things were set up for that type of process.
Who's working on that? Who's working with them?
I don't believe anybody at this point is, but they said there was funds available for that. But that could be something that could easily go through the chamber or some sort of economic development, or it can come through this body as well.
Somebody needs
You'd
to
have to revise the TOT ordinance provides that the council will adopt a resolution that will provide for the method of allocation. So if, to the extent this is a change in that method, it would require the council to consider as a separate agenda item, an amendment to the resolution.
Mayor Green, I have a comment if I could. If we don't spend all of this, we could use that we could carry it over, is that correct? Okay, and we could carry that over for a future request. Is that possible?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. The reason I bring this up is that I see that several years ago, the city started a process of requesting money for a number of things. And I want to point out to the council, and it's not saying that they're not deserved enterprises. However, 80% of the TOT is already funded to the city. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the city out of TOT is already receiving in excess of $400,000.
I don't have it right in front of me. but
If it was
it's-
500,
Yeah.
20%, anyway,
Yeah.
some ballpark. So I'm having a little trouble in funding the city of Weed for some of those things on the top and not funding the things down on the bottom. Because I see my fellow councilman didn't allocate full funding to a couple of things, including myself. Okay, so I'm just wondering if that's what we should be doing with this funding is, I understand that there's extra funding in that it's, I don't know what the need is for the security and all of those fees. However, my thought is shouldn't it come out of the city's portion of TOT funding? That's my thought,
I got
so.
it.
I asked that same question.
Is it not, Craig and Justin? Isn't that a lot of that overtime? That you asked for the 35,000, because it's overtime, it's not the regular.
It's for the security for the events, it's for the shutting down of the street, for the stage setup. I'm sure probably for it when other towns borrow our stage, is that time that when we're delivering and picking up and,
I think they had to do 8 to 5.
They pay for that.
Actually, yeah, when someone out of town borrows the stage, they do cover that cost.
they do, okay, good,
Yes.
okay.
But any that's done inside the city limits, it's a nonprofit, of course, we do all that on our, out of our TOT money.
But what I'm saying is, isn't the share of the city's TOT part of that same security, overtime, all of those items in between? I mean, I don't know what the city's purpose for TOT is. I mean, we have an allocation that is for specific items.
Sure.
I do not know if there's any specific item. I think there's one with SEDC. That's not Siskiyou Economic, that's some other council. It was in the, I don't know. There's a percentage that goes somewhere else, I believe, too.
Nothing else in the ordinance other than,
I'm looking, what I was looking at was the tax form that the city gives the merchant, and in there is 10%, and 0.02% goes somewhere else. I don't know if that's still functioning, but,
the 10% would be the TOT, the 0.2% would be something different. Perhaps you have a tourism improvement district or something?
it was, I believe it was some kind
So
of
that's
tourist.
for- That would be something that would probably be levied countywide,
That is, yeah, I believe that's the county.
Okay,
yeah.
so.
That
we're-
goes to the
Again,
Discover
but
60.
still, you don't get it all, I guess,
That doesn't go to the city, that goes to
Right.
this district.
So technically, you're getting 60% then. My math is right, anyway.
Well,
80%.
It's on top of it, isn't it?
Yeah, no, whatever a tourism improvement district.
That's on top of?
That's on top of.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
get any of that
So the
money.
tax is actually 12% to the motel or the taxpayer?
Yes.
Okay.
But to answer your
It's
question,
technically an assessment.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not-
You're so technical.
So to answer your question, traditionally, the allocations have been requested via this method each year for the city to help pay for the events and the overtime. But I do understand your point is there's, those other funds. Through the budget process, though, however, we usually, whatever's left goes back into the general fund and those type of things. So, I mean, it's something that the council by policy, I don't know if you want to do it tonight, but I understand exactly what you're saying.
Well, but again, we never entertained this. I believe Ron started that process of making some requests. And maybe it's something that city managers now do. I don't really understand all of that stuff, but,
It's been, basically,
originally, the city security and stuff wasn't in the TOT
Wasn't tied into
originally.
it.
Was it, Bob?
I think it was. I was never, I was always been there since I've been here.
Well, they used to pay for 20% for the Siskiyou Economic Development Council
Yeah.
out of the TOT
They made a
share.
donation.
I remember
And we
that.
stopped doing that for the
20,000.
same reason, because we wanted to come out of the city's share of that.
Yeah, we still pay that, don't we?
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
comes out of
from a
that
different- Yeah.
20%, that percentage is coming out of the city's portion already. But anyway.
But I know since I've been here the 9 years, there's been question from day one about the TOT funds and the definition that everyone who's requesting is getting that definition based on those three areas. And so maybe something we didn't look at, but I know it's been coming up every year I've been here. Always, is this a value for something that needed on that level that you mentioned? Or the beautification? It seems, for me to be honest with you, it seems like people make it fit, those three areas. And that's how it's been. So I don't know if we need to look at it, but I know every year has been a concern, a question. Well, I've had a question every year. So I know it's something we might need to look at the definitions and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to, because I've heard some arguments, well, that's not doing that, and it could, just want someone's opinion too, but maybe something we might look at. I know every year that we've had, when it comes to this point, we have a question or a thought process. So that might be a light bulb telling us to look at it and make sure it's clear that we're doing what it was initiated for, or maybe we change the purpose of it, or the focus of it. Maybe that needs to happen. I don't know.
So before the meeting started, I had the same question because I didn't remember the city of Weed being on our flow chart before. And Sandy said, oh yeah, it was there last year and probably the year before. And I don't have a problem with them being on there because I know what it is they're using it for. But and we were going over what our description of what TOT could be used for. And so we've always just said heads in beds. So that's what I look at when I'm doing my allocation. And if it's something that's bringing people to town, and those people are probably staying here and paying TOT taxes, or they're eating here and they're getting gas here and then that's who should be getting the TOT taxes. So I don't know how you want to do it this year. I mean, usually we would kind of, if we didn't all mesh, we would go over it, but it looks like we're all kind of in the same ballparks, so.
Looks like I have a heavy hand and I don't have the checkbook. But I'm always
Both you
negotiable.
Greens do.
Negotiable. It's in our name, Green means money.
Yeah.
Ms. Mayor? Yeah, I think for
It's like me and you are the.
the amounts we're dealing with, the amounts we're dealing with here, now this is because we switched over to the new fiscal, so this is actually for 18 months, this funding.
That's why it's larger.
That's why it's larger than it normally is. I think it's important to mention that. Regarding the city, I mean, maybe what I understand is this is probably what you worked in your budget already, Justin. I mean, this is kind of how you plan to survive this, or it's in this year's budget? You're
Well, no,
counting on this?
Anything that's above and beyond is for special events, like when we have an event that's requested for the next month and possible security. Carnivale, that's easily going to be 10 overtime shifts or more, and I would say $6,000 in overtime. I have an overtime budget which was cut last year from $70,000 to $50,000. Mind you, 1/3 of that goes to incentive pay for special assignment. So I have to make up for added requests somehow, and that's how we do this.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is that you have been, this is part of your budget. What you thought about, I mean, you could, what Ken's talking about, you would have to put this on, you would have to budget this on with our,
This is to recoup what would be above and beyond my normal operation costs.
okay.
Because Carnivale is not considered as part, I don't consider that planned as, that's a request from the event organizer for extra security. I have to have extra officers on, depending on, some years it's more, some are less. Other events that come up, we have one right now, we had a special request tonight for security at an event. That was not part of my normal operations, that's something that has arisen just yesterday, so.
This is for extra, then it can't be, this can't be budgeted in, this,
Yes, it can be budgeted in.
okay.
I believe a budget is a living document. The budget can be changed at all times. The fact that he just mentioned that we cut it was probably not a smart idea, but it was probably a good idea during
At that
the
time.
COVID. I mean, nobody anticipated a shortfall at the city like we experienced. However, I don't know how that shortfall is impacting us now. So that would become more of a question between Tim,
So,
Justin, and
I just
everyone
want to
else.
clarify, the cut was not there was no, the only intent of the cut was to balance our budget, because we had some numbers not with current finance director, but the previous one, she brought up some issues where a previous administration had approved, presented and approved a budget that did not balance, and that's why that overtime budget was cut this year. It was to balance the budget. So, and we've made up for that, so.
My point is that if we're going to budget, if we can't budget this, we got to make sure that you have funds for these special events.
Well-
And where would that come from?
What I would, if you don't budget it, when the time comes and you look at our mine and public works, and even fire's budgets, and we're in the red on overtime, we went above, I would hope that you would take that into consideration as to why we're above.
Or we just start from this point forward,
Well,
allocating extra funds for those overtime.
And we're starting
That's what I'm
almost, it's
thinking.
almost July 1 now, right? So it's kind of.
And an option could be, they tell the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm just thinking Carnivale, and Craig, say, we can't help. You're gonna have to hire your own private security for Carnivale, so now we've got the Chamber, instead of them asking for 45, they're gonna be asking for 55, because they gotta pay that.
Well, they're gonna be out there for 75.
Instead of paying overtime at the city, they're gonna be paying, a private contractor
Somebody
for
has
the
to cover
security. And the help to put
Well, and
the
I would,
stuff up and all the stuff.
I would like to
that
clarify
happens.
too, this isn't just for the overnight security. This is the increased officers that's required for an influx of people from out of town.
Yeah.
To provide security throughout the day, into the night and overnight. So it's not just for the overnight.
And Chief Mayberry and I have talked about that. He just gave a prime example of tonight, there was a request, or yesterday, there was a request for additional officers to be present tonight. And we met that, but those are the type of things where we have to make judgment calls based on what's
And that
available.
place could have called a private security company and asked the same thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And
So I have a question, and I'm playing devil's advocate. So if we know these events have happened, is it possible to budget them into your budget so we can be proactive about it? And I'm not, and it sounds like it takes communication
I kind of
between,
think they just kind of do. They figured that our overtime is gonna come from our TOT.
We've never allocated them fully though, Kim, have we, Mayor?
No,
I
so,
didn't
hope not.
remember them being on there until I
Oh, I
saw
did.
it, but it was all coming back to me,
there was a
yes.
time when it was not on there. And this was back in the previous. Administration, as was mentioned, factored this in as a way to recoup that cost. The only one that I could truly budget in is, the Carnivale typically happens every year. Many of these other events happen, but they may not happen at the same time. We have a new event this year. We've had some previous ones in the last couple of years. So I can't budget those in when somebody comes up with an idea to have an event. And, I mean, it's part of the budget. I understand that. But I just would hope that you would take into consideration, if it's not budgeted, that may be one reason why an overtime, column might be in the red.
And that would be my comment, is, as the conversation is there room in the budget to accommodate those items besides here?
to answer your question, I believe we're going to have some excess revenue over what we projected, mostly because of the fuel prices. So
But
we all
a little bit of
contribute.
sorrow, but there's a little bit of.
Expenses from our fuel prices too.
Yes, we
So
actually-
the gas tax we get back is paying the additional price of the gas that we're using.
Absolutely, there's some cost there as well. But to answer your question, we'll probably be coming back, because we're on a 2-year budget. We'll be coming back in the next month or so to do a budgeted adjustment for this next coming year. Working with Anna and Jill and trying to get those lined up pretty soon. So to answer your question, yes, I think we could absorb some of that. I mean, again, this was based on past practice prior to my arrival of those type of requests. And I understand why he did that, is simply because it's an additional expense. And but you're right. I mean, we get those TOT, the other portion of it as well, but it just typically goes right back into the general fund to cover other expenses.
Well, the previous administration never got a complete, in other words, if we asked for 30,000, it was never given completely, not that I ever
Yeah.
remember. We gave kind of what was left, and that wasn't usually very much anyway.
Sure.
This year is kind of an anomaly where we,
Had 18 months and,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you think, Ken, about us going ahead and doing this for this year? And then, because next year the budget is gonna line up time-wise as the same time as this. So when the budget gets redone, they can put that into their budget and not have to ask here. But for this point, at this point, am I making any sense?
I hear you.
Yeah, and at this point, go ahead and do it, and let's try to fix it for next year, instead of trying to fix it now when they haven't had a chance to budget it.
And to answer Councilmember Hall's question about some sort of beautification downtown. I mean, that's something we can work through with Crystal Geyser and probably with the assistance of the chamber and putting together some sort of committee where folks can ask for, improvements as far as the store frontage, awnings, those type of things out there as well. So, I mean, those are very common on a lot of main streets throughout the country.
Do we need a committee for that?
Well, because if you get, let's just throw this out there real quickly, and don't want to get into the weeds, but if they give us $20,000 and we set up a time where it's going to be a match and you get a request for $60,000 worth, you got to have somebody, a scoring system of some sort to be able to utilize that, so. That's typically how they're handled.
One other, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong. In the beginning, I think we were asking, it was more for the setup costs and things, went back in like 2008 or so. It was more minimal. It wasn't, and it was for the dump day and things like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was different times that we requested different amounts. Sometimes it was for Christmas decorations, banners. We tried to get some parking lot money, quite a few different things that we put on there. And in the past, a lot of times it just ended up being what was left over. And that normally at that time didn't cover Justin or mine's overtime for the events.
Good. I'm all in favor of giving you whatever we can for you. I think you're doing a marvelous job, Justin, with your manpower. And we definitely don't mean to be any disregard to your efforts.
Just to add to what you just said, the dump day used to be a line item request from the police department. We actually haven't done a dump day, I believe, since 2019. And that's organized through the garbage service, and that needs to be brought in future as far as I believe bidding is due or coming up. That's gonna need to be addressed as part of that project for RFP. So.
Will it be? In there?
It can be discussed. I don't think that's something that we want to put in the RFP. I think we'd wait until, well, we could.
Well, it's the ability to do it's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That needs to be asked if it can be done, but that was all paid for with TOT money.
Yeah.
My cardinal thinking is just this, as a city, as a team, we have to work to support the events that are asked for, and they have to be forecasted so people can budget correctly. And we don't have the money, we don't pull from anywhere else, we just manage correctly. And that's what was not happening the last 10 or so years. I just don't think the money was, because when I came in, I heard things I never heard before. And we didn't get reports of money. I think now we have a responsibility to be transparent. And we have to do whatever we have, and I hope we never get to the point that we spent what we didn't have, and then we had to make up for it, which we are doing now because of previous years. I hope we never get to that. I don't think we will, because we have good financial people in place. That's why I said at the last meeting, I think we have people in place that will track it, and then whatever we have the right to check, so just my mom said, whatever's in your bank, you write the check for. If you don't have the money, you don't write the check. Unless there's ways we can do it. But I hope we can get to the point that we can forecast, so we have necessary money for the events and whatever is attached to the events. And we know we just got one officer, we still need 2 or 3 more. And you know how difficult that is, but that will help with I still believe that health and safety of all citizens of Weed is number one, shall always be. And whatever that adds up to, I hope we can do that. So do we need to go to each event and do our little barter and change the numbers around and make it fit?
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the process for tonight, that's on the agenda.
Okay, well, let's start moving to that.
So if you'd like, I've started at the Family Community Resource Center at the, let me get over, Summer Fun Program. I wanted to have the averages show, so I'm right here.
Oh, I see. This is the average of you combine all of us together.
Yes, so they're requesting 600 and your average is 440.
How's it 440? Because of the zero amount for one? Okay.
Anybody that asks for $600 compared to the thousands of dollars, I think it's quite
And what was that?
Interesting that we
Can you go
can't-
back?
Summer,
that.
the summer fun program, and the reason that I put 0 in is because it's a program for the kids in our town, and it doesn't really, my knowledge, it doesn't bring any money from outside of our community into our town. But I don't have a problem allocating some money up there if I was going by the heads in beds.
And my question on that one,
Technically.
Yeah,
can you
that's,
go back one, Sandy, so I can see what the 600 for? The summer fun program. Are they asking the other cities for money? Does Mount Shasta even have to give out DOT money anymore?
Yeah, they do.
They do. Are they asking them?
Summer Fun Program is almost, I think it's exclusive to weed.
It's not.
It's not?
it's
No,
not?
it's not.
See, I don't,
No.
Then
it
the
is
kids,
not.
the kids actually are spending a fee, I believe.
They do.
Because $600, we go out and pander and get the bulk of that. I do not know the final tabulation on what Summer Fun Program cost us, but we do get funding from a number of sources. I think 600 was just asking for treats. It is a community enhancement program, I believe. I believe that would qualify, but again, that's up to everybody's interpretation.
is this a
Trunk or treat is also
fee-based?
one that barely, or probably barely fits, although, again, it's community
Right,
generated.
and trunk or treat, I obviously, they asked for 200, I gave them 200.
I would have liked to give them more for that.
Well, but again, that's another one that we had, what, 1,500 kids or 1,000 kids show up? We only have 300 kids in our whole town, so we know they're coming from all over the place for that. And Kids Day Festival is the other one, where there's
Kids Day
1,000
Festival,
kids
almost
showing up.
1,000, it wasn't just, it was 1,000 people, so,
So are they
again-
asking other, what my question is, are they asking other communities to put in for this also? Do you know the answer to that?
Well, he said
I
that
would
they
probably
have
tell you,
other-
they get Dunsmuir funds the Dunsmuir Resource Center to the tune of $20,000 per year. Mount Shasta, we have never had participation in Mount Shasta, period, for the Resource Center, or if we had any, it's been very little. We're hoping to get more based upon their new
Manager?
city manager. He was from Dunsmuir, he understands some of the principles behind the community center, the resource center. And those are the 3 towns that it impacts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we do
Okay.
get money from Dunsmuir, so I'm thinking we get, the Rotary gives us 500 down there as well.
And this,
Steve's not here, I don't think.
no, he's not. And so this Family and Community Resource Center is Dunsmuir, Mount Shasta, and Weed together, right? It's 3 different,
We put this event on, the Family and Community Resource Center, Weed puts the event on. We invite the city of Mount Shasta and Dunsmuir to come.
Are you talking Kids Day or summer program?
Kids Day.
Okay.
Summer Fun Program, I'm not sure how many kids from out of town come. I don't think it's very many, but I'd be surprised. We don't have that many kids in it, do we?
There's usually
There's
only
about
about
25.
10 to, I don't think there's even that many,
Oh,
is
no.
there? Because they
They'll-
come swimming.
2025, I've seen them up
Yeah.
at the, yeah, they're.
yeah, they come
Okay.
for lunch. So
But
there's
that's a
25.
fee-based program, isn't it?
It is. I think
It
they're
is-
paying
it
$300
is- They
each.
pay $300, however, half the kids from Weed can't pay,
Yeah.
so
And-
we do what's called the scholarship program, and that's why we're out pandering.
And
Okay.
Elizabeth
Just a
has
simple-
donated to that.
And Elizabeth, we've had a lot of people donate, Elizabeth donated also to the Kids Day Festival.
You know what, that's a good part of that, and just being very honest, some kids don't have meals at home, and we're feeding them.
Well, that's the
a
summer,
different-
that's the
that's a different
summer
program.
food program.
I've seen kids that come up to that when I've sat with you, that don't have the necessary food items at home or availability. So that's why I put 500, but I can negotiate whatever can work to bid it. But I know it's a good, and that's actually a need here, because we don't have.
Well, that's not the same
finances.
thing. That program is not the same as any of these.
That's Great
I thought the
Northern.
summer
That's
fun,
Great Northern.
southern, no, I'm talking about the southern,
Right, the Summer Fun Program is
the lunches.
No.
No,
It's
the
a-
summer
it's a
program is
little
like a day camp.
Camp.
Yeah,
They go, they
You sit at
do
the
arts
pool.
and crafts and stuff,
They
and then,
go at
no.
9, they go
They,
from 9
they
to
do
4.
go over there and eat lunch every
But I went
day.
and sat with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
That's the
come
same
over and get
program.
lunch.
No.
Come on.
No.
The kids from the summer fun program go to
To-
the summer lunch program to eat.
Yes.
And then they go back
back
to
to
the
camp.
summer fun program and go swimming in the afternoon.
So the place where I went to, that's all I can remember,
It
where I
is
went
the
to.
summer lunch
What is
program.
that? Is that the summer
It's not on
fun?
here
Summer
at
lunch
all.
program.
Summer lunch.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
That's
Okay.
true.
Run by
Great
another
Northern.
entity.
Great.
Oh.
Great North.
Okay, thank you. I was confused.
Yeah.
It can be confusing.
Well, it's just the same, the confusion between the community center and the community resource
I
center.
wanna ask some more
Every day,
questions to all
there's
those
people
friends out
going
there.
I
over
think this.
I wanna ask you more questions.
My
Thank you.
simple statement would be, is we're asking for, we don't ask for very much because we go out and get a little bit from everybody. That's been our motto at all times. The community has helped us tremendously, not only the community of Weed, but you'd be surprised at who donates to us. Roseburg helps us. Crystal Geyser helps us.
Rotary does.
Rotary helps us. Wonderland Distributing gives us signage all the time, whenever we need it. So there, Elizabeth has been a big participant. The chamber has helped out with insurance if we've needed it. So there's a lot of things that we go out and get. Consequently, we don't ask for very much because we're willing to go find it. We're okay with that. It's what we do all the time. So.
All right, how about a number? Let's go.
Well, they're asking for 600, and I was cheap. I was only at 93 out of the 116, so I'll up mine to 615 that they're asking for. I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who said thank you?
So are we going 6,215 across the board?
See, and when they break them out like that, I say, I'll give you the total, and then you decide where you need it more, because you may
Well,
need
I
to
don't
shift
think they
some
can
of
do
the
that.
15 you may need more candy and go, oh, well, we got some other donations for Kids Day, so we'll use some of that money towards
We belong,
trunk or treat.
we don't like candy because we're one of those places that believe in the healthy stuff. And so we do contribute. I think last time we contributed like $400. But Steve is a new director down here now, and he didn't feel it was necessary, I guess, so.
Yeah, I think they get lots of donations for that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that one.
Okay, Weed Museum for guide wages, they're requesting 17,416. Your average is 14,566.
I'll start off, I was being kind of a tight butt. I'll raise it to 15 easily.
I'm good with 15. The average was 14, so to round
I'm
it
good
up
with
to
15.
Okay, Chamber of Commerce, this is for their tent at Heritage Plaza. The request is 20,000, the average is 12,700.
I got a question on that. Are we asking you two? I know we are because I talked to you. So who owns that park?
City.
Okay. And who will take that structure and put it up and down? Well, the company will put it up, but you guys got the same one we have at the pool, right?
And Zeke
Yeah.
has to put it up and down
And
every
Zeke
year.
puts it up and takes it down.
You can leave the frame up, it's good for.
I know you
Yeah,
leave
no.
the frame up, but you gotta take the thing down. And who's gonna do that? Okay.
That overtime money at the top?
Richard's doing it, no.
Yeah.
Richard's he's been practicing climbing.
Yeah, I get
Um,
The question is, what would that entail? I mean, to take it down, how much
Ask
time?
Zeke, would it-
As Zeke. And
Zeke
ours
does it every year.
ours is getting pretty worn too.
How long do you think, how much time does it take to take?
I've
it
never
down,
watched
put
him
it
do
up?
it.
I've never watched him do it either. But it takes 2 guys, maybe 3. I don't know if Rich helps him when he's up there.
There's some young guys on the chamber, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, we're probably the youngest ones at the chamber.
No, there's other
We
young
also
ones.
come back to Tim or whoever would like
and give you a written advisement of how we will.
Can you go to the podium, please, if you're gonna?
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's Jeremy, we blame it on Jeremy, he can't hear.
But we can.
Turn your microphone.
That part is.
Oh, that part is Jeremy, okay.
Hold on, he'll get,
Oh,
That's for a computer.
So.
oh, that's different.
It's on.
It's on.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
What I'm proposing is that we could, either Tim or whoever's come back with something in writing saying that how we can be, yearly going up with Zeke or taking it down with volunteers or what. I mean, Donna Winger, we've been in there like cleaning up, beautifying the front. I'm sure that we have a couple of nice people that would assist us in doing that. But we could, if you want, we could put something proposed to you on that note.
We could probably get cadets from COS.
Yeah, fire science or something.
so what you're saying is you'll work it out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
You want the
That's
structure.
the least part of it.
Right, it's something that's needed, so we can start utilizing that, throughout the season
Well, and
in
now
different
that-
aspects to
Now
have
that
events.
It's not a dog dump, it makes it a lot easier.
It does, and something else that we've I'm sorry, is as far as an inexpensive route too, is using PCV piping and possibly down the sides or something, is creating a nice misting situation to keep it cool between those two concrete and the back concrete, is having some misters.
That's
put in
what we do at
that's
Carnival.
easily taken down and put back up as well. That's something else that we're looking into, and that, I think, even with my own self, donating to have that put in, so we can have more seasonal, when it's 100 degrees out, music, entertainment in there.
And those are fairly inexpensive.
That's very
We
inexpensive
had
to
some good
build.
entertainment the one year, but it was just blistering.
Exactly, so,
Yeah, it was.
and I would like to see us do that again. I know Ron's gone, but I mean, to have that music in the park, like, Mosquito Serenade and type of things, having that downtown would be, So on that note, that's all the more reason, as a business owner and a community person, allocating that money, knowing that law enforcement is present and to help us, is I support anything that we can do for fire and police,
I think one of the things, if the chamber thinks, is lighting would be a big issue. That would probably help the PD as far as you drive by.
The gate's locked, can't get in.
Can I share
true.
one thing as far as the kid, and Kim might be able to help me, Brianna that originally was with your resource center? She's with who now?
CASA,
CASA.
I believe?
Okay. They just put in for a grant through the Department of Cannabis Control, because all this tax money that they receive is to go law enforcement, for kids, fire.
Education.
Because you allow me and the county to operate here, they just received $300,000 through DCC, the Department of Cannabis Control, which is going to fund them for the next 3 years.
Yeah, CASA, they need it.
But there's programs and grants that, for the resource center, even maybe other things that, I don't know if you get the emails or not, Tim. I can start forwarding them to you, but that money that we pay is for us to use and apply for law enforcement things, for kids, for community, just like they got granted. And I think we need to start
Tapping into that money.
tapping into it since you allow us to be here. I really think that we're missing some good funds for the city.
That's a great suggestion, thank you.
Highly suggest it, because it just happened.
Yeah.
$300,000.
Well, that program that she's got is a pretty good program. She takes the kids, she does their summer camp for the CASA kids.
Exactly, and we have this camp that I
Yeah.
have every year since I've been open, have sponsored a few different children to go to this camp, and maybe I need to talk to the resource center and find out what the exact wording is for these things and start tapping into that money.
Does Steve write grants?
No.
I don't know how to shut this off.
Okay, what's our average on that one, Sandy?
12,
12-7.
okay, Taiwan.
No, I'm good with 12-7, because that's why, see, I left so much there. Taiwan.
I know. If you went 12, you
I'm
still
good
got
with
money
12.
left over.
I've got a question.
I
To get
kinda
the
have a
structure-
feeling We're gonna be going back and.
Maybe Donna, could you come, or do you, or somebody?
Yes, Bob?
Can you get a structure up for 12,700?
The structure in the canvas runs about 15,750.
So we're not in the ballpark for this season, then, or start working on it?
The one thing you can do is there's a program that they have that you can pay on a quarterly basis. So you can go ahead and order it up, they go ahead and get it designed, and then you pay over quarters to get it. And by the time next year comes, it's reallocated again. We may be able to put it up in 2023.
But that would mean you need to adjust your budget accordingly too, right?
Well,
That's
it's
correct.
just gonna cost even more by 2023. And probably cost more already since you got this bid. But did you only check with one company?
No, we checked with a couple.
No, and we, really, we worked with Mike Rodriguez,
Come to the podium.
and he helped us.
You gotta come to the podium.
Jeremy's getting mad.
We're recording you now.
Yeah.
You're live.
Just your name?
I worked with another company down in Reading, and then it got like kind of overwhelming. And Sue turned us on to Mike Rodriguez, and he turned us on to the company that did the structure for the pool. And we worked through them. They came up and met us and, you know, saw what
Your vision.
the vision. And they did things through the years with us and the other with other cities. So we felt like it had proved itself
Oh, yeah.
with the money and the
So if
everything.
we gave you the 12-7, there's other sources, there's other companies in this town that would like to give out money to beautify the downtown area that you could ask for the rest of it.
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
That was gonna be my question. So if you got 12-7, you're willing to go out and get donations for the rest of it? Or you're sitting on that money until next year when you get more money to finish it?
Well,
Because
he's the
we
director.
certainly, I mean, if we want it used for this year, banking that money and waiting for us for next year isn't gonna help bring people down there.
Well, they can finance anything. So it's a matter of if you have something like this and you finance it over a certain period.
That's not what I'm asking you. If we only have 12-7, are you going to use that money and then start making payments for the difference? Or are you gonna go out and see if you can get some more sponsors for the difference to get it all done at one time?
But we'd go out and get sponsors, first of all, to get
Okay.
the funding. It has to be an engineered structure because it's gonna be a public facility. So that's why the cost is so much more.
And what's the amount you say you need to get it, 15 something?
It's 15,780 is the cost of the canopy and or the canvas and the structure, and then the foundations are around 5,000, but that's just an estimate, and that's for labor.
Is that addition?
That's in addition to the 15.
Well, it's been there
But
for
we-
3 years.
But
to do
And it's twice the size.
I think we can get local people to come and help with the footings to put it up.
The $5,000.
I've already talked to a couple of contractors, and of course, they would have to be licensed and all that stuff. So we know we need to do that to sink the footings.
Now, my suggestion would be, and that's how my mom and dad worked, they secured the money and then went ahead. I would hate to have you, because I don't know about these businesses that have extra money in town. That's great. I don't know who they are. But if they're there and you know, we know some that can help, then we should have those conversations and kind of have it going. I'm not so sure of not having all the money, but yet going through with the project, because that puts you in a bad position, which may not work out. I don't know everyone's funds in town, and I don't know, and I'm glad to hear the ideas you have. And when Councilmember Sue suggested that there's the people in town that could give money, I would sure hope that we could secure that and get that solidified before you get to something.
We could probably do a fundraiser and get people together to talk about it, and I think that there would be people that would step up to the plate.
Richard, I have a question. Crystal Geyser has indicated that they're willing to contribute to a number of projects, and I know you talked to them. Have they indicated anything that might lead you to believe that they might do something like this, or at least partner in that portion?
I believe if we got the participation, I think they would. I do believe that they would commit to it. It isn't all that much money for them.
No, and they've mentioned many a times that they've had
Yeah. And
a lot of money that they would like to help the community with things. And I think that if we did the 12-7, if you could ask, the city kicked in this, can you kick in the rest? I think you got pretty good chances.
I would certainly draft a letter for that.
I'll bump mine up to 20.
And I was asking Sue, can you give a little bit more?
Now you're gonna mess up the average.
I'm gonna bump up to 20. If Crystal Geyser gives you excess amount, then I would hope that you'd remember that. So, in other words, if Crystal Geyser is willing to give 10, then I don't think requesting the extra money from the city would be wise or a good thing.
Well, I just had a question. If the city owns the park, why would we not have the city basically be working to put up awnings or something so we can utilize the park for events for the city?
Because it's not in the budget.
So we have the
Answer, right.
same question. If the
Right.
city owns the park, why is the rec department paying for all the repairs for the sprinkler system? Because we do. And because we mow it.
That's the way we've always done it. No, I was just curious, so that way if,
I agree. I think it's a good question, because the city, that's the property it's owned by the city, but it's not in the budget. So again, it talks about these extra things we're looking for. We have to pull up and make them fit.
So, I got a question now, but it's not for you. Sandy, because Ken upped his to 20, but the average of 14.7 still makes me the cheap person, which I'm okay with that.
If you go to 10, they're in the ballgame.
Or 95.
Bob,
I'm still a cheap person, by the way, even with my 20.
so the average is 14, so I will, whatever I have to do to make that 15,
I'm just gonna put 15 right here.
Give them some wiggle room.
Because we're gonna have to play with it anyway.
Yeah.
And
to put 15.
Okay. On to the next.
Well, I'm cheap on this one too.
Now, I have a question on this one. When I'm looking at the form, it says here funding request was 35,000. And here it says 45,000. So am I?
Okay, and this is where I got confused with we've already given him some, blah, blah.
The gap.
I haven't finished my question. I'm not sure why. I haven't finished my question. I just made a statement. So my question was, is there a difference that I'm missing? Or it says 45 here along with what was being allocated and what's on the form, what's on the picture here? So
His request is 45,000.
I have 35,000. Is it dated, TOT? For Chamber of Commerce, right?
He has a 20,000 and a 45,000.
So I'm.
His previous allocation was 34,000.
No, I'm looking at the sheet they requested, not what's on the Excel sheet. No, that's a good question.
where's your magnifying glass?
I got the.
Can someone direct me to the 45 sheet that explains that?
I don't.
It's towards the end of your packet.
Page
Okay.
73 of the PDF. if you have that.
Thank you.
Yes, he does. Yep.
So your question is what happened to the 16? Is that the?
No, the difference is between 35 and 45. I'm trying to find the sheet, because I go by the sheets. I'm sorry, you guys can go on, I just asked a
No, you can
question.
look at it right here if you want.
Here's the canopy. I am. Where's that at now, I'm sorry?
Not the canopy one, it's the next.
Is it after the canopy sheet?
I have a paper copy right here.
You don't have to wait for me, because everybody was rolling your eyes. I don't mind, you go on. You were, 15 minutes ago you were, and so I'm okay with
I
that.
was
Now I
just
see
trying
it.
to show you
Okay, I
what
see it.
Eyes all the time.
I see it.
Well,
Well, I'm just gonna let you know, I'm not good for rolling my eyes. That's not respectful, and I will not like that. So you guys go ahead, I got my sheet, so go ahead.
all right.
I got it right here, thank you, sir. And
I would like to volunteer that I've been probably one of the stingy guys with the chamber a bit. I have had a little bit, they have been pretty upfront about what their books look like, what they're spending their money on, whether their events are working or not. From a council perspective, I kind of like that, because at least I can see what's working and what's not working. That's why I allocated the full amount. Plus, after looking at some of the other cities, they almost allocate totally to our chamber, to their chambers of commerce, which puts ours at a disadvantage, because we're also operating with two functions down there. One is the Chamber of Commerce and one is the Visitors Bureau. The Visitors Bureau is, and I think Kim has pointed this out before, is that the Visitors Bureau is pretty much our function in some fashion. It benefits the city in general, and the Chamber of Commerce is a membership driven by its paying members. And both of them combine to pay Richard, and whoever else, it's a little hard, he can't go anywhere, because unless he can find somebody to actually take his place at the building, which it makes it a little bit difficult to go out and pander like he should be doing. Sorry, Richard.
Does the chamber get money from the county at all for the visitor center?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
If I may. We've been working together and looking at this for a little while as the new president of the chamber. We're in the midst of making changes within the chamber. We just had our first chamber mixer. We're trying to get more of the businesses together, back involved. We also just went through 2 years of a pandemic. So a lot of the businesses that are new here, we've got new businesses, we're bringing in new businesses. I'm praying I'm open by the end of this month. They were so excited to have our first mixer. Ken attended. We had gotten 7 businesses just within that evening, let alone the prior week. We ended up with 12 new businesses wanting to be part of the chamber. We're supposed to have another mixer, I think, this month at the Weed Brewery. So we're starting to get the businesses more excited and more involved, creating more of a business unity here. So asking for these funds, and like Ken said, is basically, we're hoping within the next 12 months, we can show you that the chamber is actually changing, we're stepping up more, we're getting more involved, coming more together within all the businesses. So, kind of recouping from the last 2 years of not being able to have these events. We really hope that you'll help, support us and see a difference between now and the next 12 months. I should say 18 months now.
I would
but
say
yes.
answer, when I first joined, there was a question about paying for the salary. And when that decreased, things started changing. And so I know Ken was really, I'm sorry, Mr. Pelfrey, he was very encourageable for me to see that, and I wasn't seeing that. So I'm glad to see any changes, and I can't go to the mixer because of drinking, I can't do that, and I don't want to be around it because of my legs. But I heard it was very successful, and people were talking about it, so I applaud those new directions that are happening. But I know that was a shift change about 5 years ago when we had to make the change between salary paying And I know it restricts the director, but as Ken says, I hope we can get some more things that will assist with that, because,
Oh, we do too. And poor Richard, I mean, that's the thing that we had to actually, I really spoke up. We had to sit down and explain to kind of our own board that Richard has to allocate X amount of hours daily and weekly that are strictly for visitor center and representing the city. Those other hours, then, we get to have him to help us and utilize him for the chamber. Therefore, as a volunteer who gets put in this position, such as myself, it is my job, my duty, not a job, I'm not paid, to go out and communicate and make friends and get people back in the community, in the business community, involved with us. And that's for us who wants to be on the board and members to start doing. Richard cannot do everything. And so therefore, myself, Marie, we have gone out, spoken to new business owners, existing business owners, and have brought them back into the chamber. So like I said, I think you'll see, Stacy, that in the next 18 months, more development, more involvement, more unity within our business community.
I'm excited when I drive down the street and see open doors to new places. I look in and sometimes stop, and that's how I learn, and that's excellent. I'm not worried about any of those things, but I think that's a great feature and a great activity that you can see. I mean, at the place next to where the the veterans ladies used to go. My mom used to go there for poppies. That's open with
Yeah,
the
Mantra.
orange cover.
Yep, Marta, yeah.
I love
and
it. It's
she's
great.
wonderful.
Great.
If you haven't been in there, you
Great.
want to stop in.
So I
So-
just want to do a little PSA for the chamber. You do not have to be a business to be a member. It
That's-
costs me $50 to be an individual member of the chamber.
Ken's also a mayor, Ken's also a member too. Sue, I don't know. But any of you are more than welcome, and you're always welcome to attend our meetings as well.
So,
Okay.
my question is, because I'm the cheap one on here, I'm okay with that. I didn't understand, Sandy, how are we, they want 45, we've already given them 16. How are we supposed to, I didn't understand that part.
How are you supposed to what?
I don't know.
45
So-
is a request, and that has to go with.
45 has to cover the next fiscal year. So this,
July to July.
So really, they're getting
the 16 that they've requested
56?
has funded the last 6 months.
Or, no, 61.
It's not included,
Yeah.
or it is included.
Okay, so if you
So for 6
include-
months of this calendar year, they've received $16,000. But we're not going to allocate again until June of 2023.
So really,
And
they're
that
going to
pool
get
of funds will be
61.
smaller.
But then they can't do the events that they have on calendar for the rest of the year, is that correct?
I don't know what their budget's like. I have no idea.
We're working on
That sounds scary.
So it's costing them $16,000, I'm gonna say 15,
61.
because I can add. That 15 every 6 months, so, because that's 18 months worth, that's why they were asking for 45.
That's a pretty good analogy. For 15 a quarter?
And that covers all events for the 18 months? All
I guess it would
activities?
be a half, wouldn't it, not 750?
So it sounds like if you can come up, that would be great.
It's 12.5 a quarter,
Okay.
is that right?
Well, not if
Division
it's
somebody-
15 and
something.
if it's 15 for 6 months, then it would
It's
be.
45.
That would be 750 a quarter, but
So Kim, could you come
I
up a
can't
few
do math in my
thousand?
head.
Kim and Sue, could you guys come up a few thousands to,
What's the average, Sandy?
Sandy,
I know I've screwed up the average.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
35, because
All
if
right.
it's 15
I
for
know I
6
just don't wanna
months, it would
touch
be
it.
30 for 12 months.
Okay.
So your average is 35.
All right, so throw 36 in there, and then let's see
Oh, and
where
move
we
on.
go.
I see
Yeah,
what you're saying, okay, yeah.
okay.
Okay, the cemetery is requesting 15,000 for operation for the next 12 months. They did have a gap request in March. They were awarded $4,600.
Okay. What's messing up our total down here at the bottom, though, is that we didn't put anything in for the city. So it's looking like we have
Oh, yeah.
$68,000 left.
No, 68,000 is the total that you've
Total.
allocated so
I know,
far.
but
Your
I know.
remaining
The
balance
top-
is 47.
Yes, but if we put in,
We have to go back to the top of the city, yes.
yeah,
And put something in there.
exactly.
Well, let's just, yeah, we'll do the cemetery and then we'll move up.
All right.
Okay. So
Let me find my cemetery stuff in here.
can you just put the average number in there and see what-
10,000?
2,300.
Yeah, and see where we're at?
Okay, so funds remaining is $37,400.
Okay.
From my understanding, from the Winnemilla Cemetery in Lincoln Heights, the whole project, it seems like there has been a need for beautification or upkeep. And I just keep hearing that each time it comes up, so I know I gave it 12, and some people gave it lower or higher, but when we come to that subject, it seems as though we always talk in support of it, trying to help it some type of way. I don't know how the funding, I'm not on the board, I'm not in that, so I don't know how the funding is done. But I know that, well, number one, when we go back to the top, city, we talked about that 2 years ago. We have to have that support there when events happen because they just will fall apart. They will be unsafe, unhealthy, and we don't want to present events like that for people to attend. So it sounds as though that we need to, we have 37,000 left. If we could up more in the cemetery because of the beautification, and then give at least 30, I'm just talking out, to the city of Weed, we will be close to our budget. I'm just saying that, just looking at the numbers.
I would be willing to come up with the cemetery, provided you put the main source of business generation is the Chamber of Commerce. And I firmly believe that it's a change for me, if you want to know the truth. I see new events happening, I see a lot of, input happening at the Chamber. If we're willing to come up to right about 45 and meet their requirements so that they can maybe enhance the business community, because we certainly need it still. There's a lot of things, irons in the fire, but one thing that will push that forward is solidarity in the business community. So I'd be willing to come up, reluctantly so, with NEMA, if we come up with the Chamber.
How
Not to
much?
blackmail you guys, but.
Well, no, hold on though. Because
How much can you come up?
what is, what's the average on that one? On Wainema? 10. Because if you look at this, Ken, so January 1st to June 3rd, 2022 is what that says. It's costing them about $6,500, so 12,000 to pay those.
The busy time is gonna be coming, right?
Well, no, but that's to pay those guys.
Yeah.
So if we did 12 to them, that should be enough for the year for their wages.
And then
No?
if we give them 12 and the tax measure passes, they won't be on here next year.
Take them off.
The tax goes in, it has to be voted on in November, then it starts January?
No, this would go
They
again
would
in.
start in July next year.
Provided that.
The one that we vote on in November.
Allocates $12,000.
Oh, I thought it started in the fiscal year, I thought the
So,
calendar year.
but if you put 12, so,
Well,
no. But if we do that, if we put 12 there, so now we're still at 80. So if we give, because we still have, I don't know now, now I'm gonna have to add like 36.
The city of Weed doesn't have
The
anything.
city of
But the
Weeds
city
are,
doesn't have anything.
That's why you have leftovers.
but all we have left over right now is 35,700.
Maybe we give them 32 or 33. I always say that, and they can.
What's the average there,
restructure.
Sandy?
For
Oh,
city of
You
Weed?
need to make the font small.
Yeah, it's too low.
back to what Ken offered for the Weed Chamber, I had 29,000 because I figured they already had I was figuring on 35,000 because of the gap, the 16,000 that they picked up there. I will,
What,
I have no problem going up to, say, 35.
what if we gave the city 30 and take that other 57 and put it towards the chamber?
All right, so now you got 5,700 left over.
No,
Oh, we're
yeah,
even.
we just put that 5,700 to the visitor center.
Great, plus we'll have new businesses coming in, that'll be new,
You like that?
taxes will
Well,
get
and
passed,
since
hopefully.
we have new events, those events should be bringing in some money too. I mean, if it's an event that we lose money on, it's not a good event. Yeah.
I like this.
I'm happy with it.
I know, I get it though.
Do we make a motion to approve it?
Well, it sounds like we still have some
Do-
negotiation. Ken, do you want to change
We
anything?
spent it all, correct?
Well, so far,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
There's something wrong with his, Jeremy. Not right for right now.
I'm electronically,
Challenge.
No, it's
no,
not him.
electronics
It's
don't
his
like me,
thing.
actually. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
My wife always
It's
says,
not
look
you.
at this, and she turns the computer screen around, and there's nothing there.
I'm defending you. I do the same thing to my husband, so just stop.
So tell me what the
See,
question
what I
is.
do is I say, come over here and look at it. I don't turn it around.
So, council member, so tell me what the question is. We've met the amount available, so there's a future question or a current question? What's happening now?
41, 7, 12, 12, 12, oh, man.
He doesn't like paying the city.
I don't like paying the
But it-
city, and actually, Wainema is still something that
But-
just.
but
is,
let's-
you know, just is.
Let's try to get the tax passed and we'll pull that one off and we'll pull that one off.
That's not gonna happen in my neck of the woods, but that's.
Well, let's try.
But we're working on it. You don't have
Let's try to
to.
get it done and we can take that one
Trying
off.
to pass a tax in an
And that one.
inflationary period, that's gonna be a good one.
And no one's buying plots anymore, so the money's not coming in from that, for the cemeteries.
Well, they sell them.
When I was
No
over
one's
there
buying that.
last week for different reasons, the gentlemen that were working there were using their own personal mowers.
And I get that. However,
I know.
has anybody there done anything to use, to go get the funds? We have heard that Crystal
I'm
Geyser
guessing
has-
no.
Huh?
I said, I'm guessing no.
I'm guessing no, but Crystal Geyser is money. You guys got an emergency fund from the Ford Foundation for fixing the pool, right? Something like
The debt,
that? Yeah, okay.
yes.
My question becomes,
That's a good source for them too.
I agree. We can't solve their problem tonight because it's way
if you
bigger
go-
than any of
But if you
this.
take a look at their sheet, what they charge for a plot, it's $1,200. Anywhere else is $3,500 to $4,000. There are
But we're getting in the
they're
weeds.
self-exploiting.
We're getting in the
I'm
weeds.
sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not that I disagree with you.
Well, I just have a hard time rewarding.
And we said this since I've been on here, we're gonna try to get rid of them. Okay, so can,
If you left it.
The youngest person
Make a
that's
motion?
there is 60.
oh, does anybody,
I make a
Do we have
motion.
any public comment? I mean, you guys have already spoke about your own agencies, but,
I make a motion that we
oh,
approve.
wait,
the-
Jim
Jim's
wants to
thinking.
say something. Yes, come to you have to come to the microphone.
Went by so fast, I didn't understand what was even.
You have to come to the mic, or Jeremy will yell at us.
We allocated 15,000, I believe, Jim.
yeah, 15.
15,
It was awarded 15.
yep.
Okay.
That's the only question they're gonna ask you when you get home.
And I would like to thank the Weed Museum for fundraising. I would like to thank the museum for going on for North State Giving Tuesday. You made a sincere effort.
We just had a very major expense this year. 2 years ago, carpet, we got an estimate, it was like $8,200. We just finished, just before the season opened, putting new carpet in the museum, and it was $16,135 or something like that.
Use Edgewood or what?
No, well, we had two bids, Edgewood's and
Ken.
Turner's. Edgewood didn't have the manpower to move all the displays. And at 83 years old, I can't move any displays either.
Right,
So
right.
Turner, that was in his bid. It was more than Edgewood, but At least he
But they
came
did
in
the
and did,
work.
he did the whole thing. He moved it, he put it back, and everything was fine. So that was a major expense for us this year. So that's the reason they had asked for the total amount for the wages, basically. But we're coming up pretty short, like everybody else is, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we thank you for what we get, so.
Thank you,
Are you there
Jim.
tomorrow, Jim?
Pardon?
Are you there tomorrow?
No, Larry's there tomorrow and the
Okay,
next
that's-
day.
that's
I
fine.
was
I
2
gotta come
days,
down.
you get 2 days on, 2 days off, so I'm gone. But I can meet you there if you want.
I'll call you
Okay.
and tell you what
I'll
I'm
be
doing.
there. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, I got
are there
something on
any
my
other
sleeve.
changes anybody wants to make?
If not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the transit occupancy tax 2020 for this year as approved and agreed upon by the council tonight.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay,
Okay.
that's, you can,
It won't carry any weight.
all right.
Gonna write it
But I
down.
do appreciate all.
Is it me or
Sandy's
is
right
it
in
hot
there.
in here?
It will count.
Okay,
Everybody, thank you.
move on to
Thank you, members.
8.5.
Thank you.
Introduction and first reading of ordinance 469, 2022. David?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, David Ruderman, City Attorney. Before you, pursuant to direction at the last meeting, is a ordinance which would adopt a transactions and use tax, a sales tax within the city of Weed of a quarter penny. It contains a 10-year sunset clause so that it expires after 10 years. Unless subject to a vote of the people if there was a new ordinance at that point that was proposed. It also contains a provision to create a citizen oversight committee, which would have the responsibility for reviewing proceeds of the tax collected and recommending uses for that tax. It is proposed as a general tax, which would mean that it could be used for any general governmental purpose within the council's discretion each year. And it would, it does require two-thirds approval of this legislative body and 50% plus one approval by the voters. So this tax is administered by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration in Sacramento. And there will be, if it's adopted, there will be some contracts that the city will need to enter into with the state for its administration. And they require that it be adopted as an ordinance by the city. So today is the introduction, and then we'll bring it back for the second reading and adoption at the next meeting. At that point, we would at that point call for an election on the matter. It would be consolidated for the November election. And then at that point, it would be subject to the voter approval, and so it would only go into effect if 50% plus one of the voters approved it at that point. If they didn't, then it dies, and it, as happened, I guess, in 2020. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, the suggested motion would be a move to introduce an ordinance and then read the actual title of the ordinance, which I'm still pulling up.
Mr. Attorney, Mayor, the effective date would be in June of the next year, not January, right?
If the question is would the tax start being imposed?
Yes, that's the question.
That's the operative date, which is, according to the Revenue and Taxation Code and this proposed ordinance, it's the first day of the first calendar quarter commencing more than 110 days after the adoption of this ordinance. So the adoption would be in November, and so usually I think that's April 1st. That's the first quarter That's 110 days afterwards. It usually takes that long to enter into the contract with the state, and then for the state to basically inform all the vendors that there's an additional quarter penny that needs to be added. You know, a lot of vendors need to change their systems so
Right.
that it's automatically calculated. So April 1st was when people would start having to pay it.
However, funds won't be available until July.
I think that's right, yeah, there's always a lag there.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
After we pay $20,000 plus to the state for updating their record,
Isn't there a fee to- with the state of California to update their records?
I'm not aware
Okay,
of that
there is.
provision, and it's possible that the proceeds from the tax could pay that.
Yeah, I
There's a,
think that's
they
what
they
they
always
were.
have a fee.
I remember that too.
there's-
I would like to make a motion to consider the introduction and first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Weed imposing a quarter-cent transaction and use tax for general governmental purposes to be administered by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, subject to the approval of the voters.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Oh, there's nobody here.
It's gone.
Jeremy, do you have anything to say? Okay.
I still oppose based upon
Well,
my
we
prior
haven't done a
objections.
vote.
We haven't
been
came to that
asked yet.
section yet, sir.
Yeah.
We haven't
All
come to
in
that section.
favor?
Hang tight.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hold on. It's been first and it's been seconded, and I can make the statement if
I
I
see.
want. And I still oppose based upon the original complaints that I had. I do not think it is a fair and impartial tax that is being imposed.
And your statement is noted,
It is
and
noted.
democracy
Thank you.
moves the motion.
All right,
So was that was 4-1?
it was 4-1, yes.
I don't think I voted, but the vote is no.
I think you voted.
You
You
did.
said, I'm again. All right, League of Cities. Council will consider selection of voting delegate and voting delegate alternate for the annual conference in Long Beach, September 7th through the 9th. Do we have anybody who is interested in attending?
Ms.
or
Mayor,
Becoming the delegate?
Ms. Mayor, I'm interested in becoming the delegate, and I understand that the city attorney and city manager will be attending this also?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'd like to be the delegate,
The alternate?
alternate, because I haven't went in 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
I'm not going. I have other stuff going on that week. It'd be fun, because Disneyland is near there, but.
I've never been to Disney.
Oh,
What?
Bob?
I'm sure.
I've never been either, I don't miss it. It's like going to a carnival, I don't go to that one either.
So do you have the funds to do the voting delegate and voting delegate alternate to attend?
Except they drink beer. You don't have to.
You can go online, I understand.
Yeah, this is all, I mean, this is just for the voting tonight. This is not
Or not to
deciding,
attend the,
not to
So,
attend.
Okay.
I will entertain a motion to, approve Bob as the delegate and Stacy as the delegate alternate.
I will second that motion.
She was seeking
I was
someone to
seeking a
make the
motion.
motion. Would you like to
You're-
make the motion?
you're making the
Councilmember?
motion.
Oh, I will make the
Entertain.
motion.
I will second.
All right. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion carried.
Look at this stuff.
And now we have our urgency item. Craig?
close the streets.
Yes, we're asking you to approve the notice of exemption for 2 projects, the parking lot project over by Suns Hall and also the road project on Lincoln, or not Lincoln, shit. Been here too long, it's bedtime, on Lake Street.
On Lake Street,
Yes.
And can you explain why
That
they
Lake Street
are
is horrible.
exemptions not planned, not known, or not put forth? Can you explain that so
Where?
people know that?
wait a
The-
minute. Okay, go ahead.
These came in on Tuesday, and it's an urgency item to try to get, especially the parking lot project started.
And Stacy, oh, sorry, Councilmember Green, these are the exemptions from CEQA, so they are not subject to
Okay,
environmental.
that's why I know where they came from and why. Thank you.
In the parking lot, we're talking about the Suns parking lot?
Yes.
It's the cities,
It's
but
the
That is the
cities,
city's
but we
parking
always
lot.
call it the
Yeah.
Suns, yes.
So
Yes.
now it's gonna be level, as I've been asked like 5, 6 years, remember we talked about it? It's gonna be just
Well, I don't know about level,
Repaired.
but it'll be
We're gonna
paid.
try to level it out, yes.
nice.
I don't understand the Lake Street, so that's for next summer.
Correct.
We just
to
have to
start
exempt
the
it from CEQA.
Plan and specs on it.
Okay. Other than that, making another raceway. Did we get the 116? 162.
we're still working
That will
on it.
be decided on at the end of June at the CTC meeting.
What are
Okay.
these side comments, that's financing for the project?
We have financing for the parking lot. We're waiting to get it from the county auditors. And we have money to start plan specs and estimates on the Lake Street project.
Thank you, because we know it costs money and all these things thrown out, the public doesn't know what that's happening, so.
And is that just that one road? It's not gonna turn the corner? No, because Bowles is fine.
No,
It's just-
it's not fun. Bowles is gonna be coming the next year,
Okay.
All right,
is the plan.
Oh, what do we have to say?
A motion
a
to adopt.
motion to adopt,
So I make a motion to adopt the notice of exemption for the Lake Street Rehabilitation Project and the East Inez Parking Lot Rehabilitation Project as noted.
I second.
And, is that gonna be signed by you,
Tim,
by Tim? So, and authorize the city manager to sign?
And authorize city manager to sign appropriately.
Again, I second.
all right, any public comment? It's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carried. So we will move to staff reports. Justin, you want to start?
Just briefly, if you hadn't seen the post, we did hire an officer, swore him in, filling one of the vacant spots. He'll be going through an FTO program, field training officer program, will approximately take 4 months. But we're excited to have that spot filled, and we're excited to have somebody that we found that's grew up here and is local and knows the community, so.
What does he have to go through?
Field training
Is
officer.
that working with your people?
Yes, so the academy doesn't mean that you're good to go. The
Yeah.
academy means you're up to post level, then you gotta come into your community, learn how to do things within your city and county.
Oh, okay. Has he started? Are they here?
Yes, he's already started.
Oh, nice.
Good for you.
No, no, we didn't have any female applicants, so.
Keep our fingers crossed. Next time. Craig?
we're going to be starting the Lincoln project, which we've already started. And hopefully by the next council meeting, it'll be complete and we'll have you do a notice of acceptance.
Really? When do I get to request a stop sign?
Oh, right. You are gonna request a stop sign?
A stop sign where?
Yes, I want to request a stop sign on that road. How does that work?
Where?
Which road?
I don't know. We got to put one somewhere.
What road are you talking about?
90.
No, she hates stop signs. She doesn't want a
You
stop
don't
sign.
use them, but that's not the point.
Are you sure you don't want a yield sign?
Yes, I would like a yield sign. Somewhere on that, because it's going to be an absolute raceway from 97 to 97. And I slow down at stop signs.
We could purposely leave some potholes.
Yeah, we can leave some potholes in there.
Several seniors approached me regarding a stop sign at Hillside and Shasta Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a stop sign on Shasta, there's a stop sign going north on Hillside, there's no stop sign going south. And so
It's a raceway coming out of the high school. It's kind of like the 97
The
railroad.
high school has one. So there's one when you're coming down Hillside, there's a stop sign there. But
Right.
you're saying there's not one coming from the park, and you're right.
No.
There's not.
Yeah, there's not one coming the other way.
Anyway, I don't know if it's warranted, I don't know if the PD is up there at all. It would be a better call for that.
Well, after tomorrow, it'll die down for 3 months. After tomorrow, it'll die down for a little bit.
For the summer, as they posted. Yeah, but that's not a good way to operate.
Okay. Did,
Brian
who,
has something to say.
yeah, Brian, do you have something to say? Is he gonna-
Yeah, last week, we had a full week of training at the mill when they shut down. Hose deployment training, 3 days of confined space technician training, and the last day was for elevator rescue training. So it all went well. And then yesterday, we were able to get our fire engines with their annual pump testing at the mill.
I saw all those out there. I wonder what they were doing.
At the pond.
at the
Yeah,
time.
we do it with Mount Shasta, McLeod, Dunsmuir, and Lake Shastina and Montague over 2 days there.
And do you have any more volunteer firefighters coming, or interest or feet in the building?
We did get an applicant for a sleeper position this week. It's looking promising, so we'll be continuing with going over the applications and that. So one right now.
Great, and thank you for your efforts. I know you do efforts in that area also.
Thank you.
And
Thank
out
you.
of curiosity, are you losing other ones to CAL FIRE this summer?
Out of the 6 sleepers we have currently, 3 will be employed with CAL FIRE.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you guys charge extinguishers?
We do not. We utilize the, I forget his business name, but he's out of Mount Shasta.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is it a business?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's a retired firefighter. and-
Yeah, we do charge the water fire extinguishers. We have the ability to do that, but the ABC extinguishers, we can't do that. No, but he's a good call. He can come to you.
Sandy? Tim?
Dave,
Do
you-
you want to go first, David?
I have no report, thank you.
I just have a couple of quick bullet items here. Chief mentioned our new officers getting ready to start. We also had, and I failed to mention this at the last council meeting, we had a new dispatcher just started, Allie Karstensen, I believe her name is. Is it, how do you pronounce that?
Yes, and I believe I mentioned her at the last.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but if you haven't met her, she's working.
She's right inside there. I just remembered as we were coming in. And Christina Britton, who's our new accounts payable payroll clerk, she's working out really, really well. The clock tower is. good
The
God.
tower, yeah,
Tower.
hey, we've
Oh, my God.
upgraded.
It's late. The Main Street clock is up and running.
I noticed it
And it
this
actually
morning,
tells
and
the
it had
time
the
when you
right
look
time.
at it, so,
On both sides?
on both sides.
Believe me, I noticed. John wasn't here, but I know.
Yeah, John Pemberton and the guys at Public Works have been really good at, we resealed it, put a new faceplate inside of it, and it's looking good. We're going to get with a local artist. We're going to have them scribble weed CA at the top, so if people want to take pictures next to it, they can. At the top, there's some space for that on there. There's a couple spaces for that, so.
It'll be busy for 20.
So it'll be,
420 every day, you'll see
it'll be
people.
weed time?
It'll be weed time.
That's a great idea. I never thought of it.
We're on weed time.
We're on weed. So the EV station, if you haven't noticed, we've been cleaning up the lot and getting that
Yes.
ready, hauling off a bunch of tires and,
We've been doing it?
well, it's our lot. We own it.
We didn't make him get all that stuff off before?
Okay, that's another
Yeah.
subject. He donated all that to us.
Oh, that was nice.
So, yes, it was included. He threw it all in for us. Yeah. So, also, just tonight, you approved the MOUs for the POA. I'd like to thank Chief Mayberry for his input. Tim Green, Sean, Roxanne, they did a great job, as well as Councilmember Palfini and Mayor Pro Tem Green. They were the two designees to help out with this year's negotiations, and that went really, really smooth. Last but not least, as you may have noticed tonight, we're missing a staff member. She is doing her treatments every Thursday, and I just ordered some pins with my own money, and we're going to start wearing pink ribbons every
Nice.
Thursday here at
Nice.
City Hall in solidarity. So I'll have some ready for you next council meeting as well. So. It's a Rotary. So now I'm buying pins for Rotary?
They'll pay you back. They'll pay you back.
No, they won't pay. My wife will pay. She's in Rotary. So, well, I'll have Brandy order you some pins for Rotary. So, but anyway, so, but I just want everybody to, like I say, stop and think. I know we've got some survivors in this room, and we're really pulling for her. She's had a really good spirit, let's just say that, and very inspirational to all of us. She comes in on Mondays and after going through that chemo and everything else, and it's been really eye-opening for me as well. So I don't complain nearly as much about my knee and my back and all those things anymore like I used to. But again, she's been a real inspiration to all of us. So, and she's missed on Thursdays here. So, and that's all I have.
I'd like to add something, Mr. Mayor, before we close. The statue that was put on the area in front of the Y Ranch House, my mom used to work there, called the Y Ranch House always, before the Summit Inn, that statue
Blade.
by Snack, the young man. I thought as a creative arts major, that was my major, I thought it'd be great to have some of his name put there that he created that. And that just shows, I'm not sure if we can do that, but I was thinking that would be something to think about. Because I asked him, he wouldn't mind, and I said, it's great when people are traveling, they can know who did that. It just shows his creativity and his recognition. And if I would go around and ask people for money if it costs anything we can't pay for. But I asked his mother, I asked him, he said he doesn't have a way, I don't know who put it there, was that the chamber or? Rotary. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it'd be great to have his name there as an artist, a fellow artist, and it's good to show that creativity of.
His name's on it. He signed it.
Oh, I didn't see it. He said it wasn't nothing there. Because I mentioned a nameplate. So if that's great, then fine. I just want to mention that.
Yeah, Rotary will buy it.
Mr. Mayor, I have one other thing I just saw. I'm sorry. We're
Okay.
getting close to the end. I don't know how to go about this, but I wanted to talk about, I'd like to see some type of proclamation for the Waterford Weed citizens. The battle, this battle went on for many years.
Way too long.
Way too long, but I really think that the efforts of Waterford Weed citizens shaped the outcome dramatically. And I think that it's important to note and give the people that made made the effort to some type of recognition. My thought. Thank you.
All right.
And I don't know, the process, okay, got to go through you and we'll do, okay.
I guess. Okay.
We're on,
Make
babe.
it so. Are you going to take us out?
I was going to be obstinate tonight and say no. I make a motion, we adjourn. Thank you.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? We are adjourned. Thank you.